to FPB's Meet the Candidates. This Cable 10 series allows you, the viewer, to get an idea from our candidates how they feel about issues that are important to our community. This is all leading up to our primary election, which is actually happening now up until June 23rd. That's right, things are a little different this year as we are social distancing. So we're conducting our interviews from different locations. This year we took questions via social media and from our email. So we have a lot of interesting topics to cover, so we jump right in. So today's guest is Diane Strong, and she is a candidate for Frankfort City Commission. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's just start right off by you telling us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to run for City Commission.
Well, my name is Diane Strong, and I moved here about 2.5 years ago. I grew up in northern Minnesota, and I've actually lived in a lot of different places before coming here. And we chose Frankfort because we homeschool, and I needed to be within commuting distance from Lexington, where my husband's office is. And I pretty much looked at every possible city that was within driving distance, and Frankfort was my number one choice. There's just so much here. There's so much to offer. Lots of learning opportunities for my kids, and just a great community. So, and once we moved here, we fell in love. This is the people here are so welcoming, and they've never treated me like an outsider. So we really love Frankfort, and I always feel like it's important to give back to my community in some way or fashion. And for whatever reason, I felt like this is an opportunity to really bring something to Frankfort, an outside perspective that might be of use, I guess.
Okay. Well, from your previous experience, how do you think that has prepared you to play a role on the City Commission?
Well, I've been involved, like when I was in Sadieville, when I lived in Sadieville, I organized some bike tours there, and I had to interact with the city commission and the mayor quite a bit. And so I got to kind of see and sit in on some of their meetings, see how things go. And it requires that when you do events like that, you have to be able to interact with the city and get along with them and see how things run. And I think that inspired me to do this. But also, I've lived a lot of places, and we travel a lot, and I've seen what works in cities. And I see a lot of things that I think we can bring back here to Frankfort, and it could be an asset.
Okay. Well, what do you see as the biggest issue facing the City Commission right now, and how do you propose to address it?
Well, the City Commission and the mayor, I think, kind of micromanage our city employees too much. I think that definitely needs to be addressed. If there's one thing Frankfort does well, it's hiring really good employees. And I think if we just let them do their job, we would be able to move along a lot quicker and get a lot more done. It'd be a lot more productive. I also would love to see Frankfort become a little bit more business and investor friendly. And I think the commission can help with that too by staying out of the way.
Okay. Well, obviously we're all facing a big issue right now, which is COVID-19. And that's really going to affect our local economy, if it already has. So if elected, what ideas do you have to deal with this economic crisis that we're facing, as far as how it's going to affect the budget, and if there's anything the City Commission can do to supplement that?
Well, I think KCDC and DFI and our chamber, those are pieces of the puzzle that are really important. Economic development is what they do best. I think looking to them for some guidance. I also think that looking to other cities that are doing it successfully, I'm really big at not reinventing the wheel when you have a wheel that works well. So taking ideas from other cities who are ahead of us in this process and seeing what's working for them and implementing them here in Frankfort. I think that's a great way to go.
Okay. Well, again, given the situation that we're in and everybody's pulling together and trying to pool the resources to get things done, do you think it is the time to revisit the issue of a combined city-county government, a merger?
Well, ultimately, I would like to see the combined city and county government. Does it need to be a priority right now? Not necessarily. I think that ultimately we should have a vision, and every decision we make should be working towards that vision. And I think this should be part of the vision. It's going to help with some redundancies, hopefully lower some taxes, and it's kind of the way of the future. Lexington and Louisville have both done it and worked really well. A lot of the cities that are running really well right now have done it, and I think it's definitely the direction that we need to be heading in.
Okay. Well, we're currently, as you know, in a city manager form of government. So under that form, what do you see as the role of a city commissioner?
Well, we need to come up with our ideas and our visions, and then we need to let our city manager figure out how to make that happen and allow them to do it. And then, of course, just the regular functioning of the city. Sorry, just the normal functions beyond that. But I mean, we really need to allow our city manager to implement our goals and stay out of his way so we can get it done.
Okay. How do you think the city can improve communications with its people, whether it's, making a report about a pothole or publishing vital public health information or anything in between?
Well, it's interesting, because I go online and I see ratings for different parts of our city and they've got horrible ratings. And then I call and I have no issues. Every experience I've had dealing with the city, whether it's the plant board or, getting some trees cut on a sidewalk or a no outlet sign on my street because people are getting lost. It's amazing how well they respond and the garbage pickup. And so I think we really do have a well-functioning city. And if there's, I think people might just be afraid to ask sometimes. They just would rather complain and not ask if something could be done. But, utilizing the, online suggestions or, complaints or any of those things, and just making sure that we're efficient to responding to all of the concerns and putting that as a priority, because happy people makes a happy city.
Yeah. Well, we will be happy because we have exciting things going on downtown. We have parcels B and C, and that is offering Frankfort a unique opportunity to facilitate some economic stimulus, which we're in need of now more than ever. However, because of COVID-19, there is also the question whether the developer can find a viable way forward post-COVID. So what should city government do, if anything, to reduce the developer's risk in order to make the project successful?
Well, I definitely think we need to go through with the TIF funding. I'm glad that they're investigating that further. I think it will go a long way to making the project actually viable. Well, I'm not an expert in it, and neither are they. Clearly, that's why they've called in some experts to evaluate the situation. I do believe that any expense that is involved or loss of tax revenue as a result is going to be reaped over and over with the economic stimulus that the development of that parcel will bring.
Okay. Another exciting project downtown is the 2nd Street Corridor. In 2016, Frankfort received an $8 million federal grant to reconstruct the area. Have you seen the plans, and how do you feel about the improvements that are going to be made? And is there anything in particular that you like or that you think should be changed?
I have seen the plans, and I think that they're very well thought out, and I'm excited about it. The streetscape, implementing some trees and a larger sidewalk, making it more walkable, visually appealing. These are really important things for quality of life. I don't know if people realize how important it is, but it really does come down to a city people want to be in and walk in and explore. I love that they've added some signage for historical features, and they're addressing the traffic situation. That's huge. When people have to sit at lights that are not changing because they're set up not incorrectly, just not functionally, they get frustrated. And these are frustrations that they experience day in and day out. I mean, it's little things like that that really either make your day or break your day. So if we can actually smoothly get home at night, and if we still have a smile on our face, well, that's a good day. And the more good days we have in Frankfort and the more things we can do to make our citizens just really happy to be here, I think it's a great, great thing. So kudos to Cindy for getting that funding, and kudos to Keith for making it happen.
Okay. Well, as we've seen with recent events, buying local is crucial to keeping our local economy healthy. How would you work with the Chamber of Commerce to support local businesses?
Well, I 100% agree buying local and supporting. I love that we have our farmers market downtown, and the even people who have subsidized groceries and stuff can go and shop there. I think that one of the proposals that are especially important right now with the COVID-19 is kind of doing a stimulus just here in the downtown area. And this is actually Commissioner Patricia Waldridge's idea of having a money set aside and then having vouchers where people who are in need can take the vouchers, and they have to spend them in the local, with the local businesses. And since she came up with that idea, Midway has since implemented it and gotten a lot of accolades because of it. So yeah, there's a lot of great ideas out there, and anything that we can do to support our local businesses, I think, are going to be important. And like I said before, anytime another city is doing something that is successful, we need to implement those ideas as well.
Okay. What changes in policy would you support to make Frankfort more business friendly?
Well, a lot of times getting permits and inspections and these type of things tend to take a lot longer here in Frankfort. We have kind of a reputation for not being super business friendly. I mean, we need to get feedback from the business owners and from investors, and find out what was failing at. Instead of taking offense to some of the criticisms, we need to listen and find out what we're doing wrong and how we can make it better. And we need to make some changes and accommodate the businesses. We want them here. We want to bring more here, and we want to change our reputation.
We do want to have more businesses here, but we also want to be able to provide the workforce for them. Another issue that we have found with local businesses is that even if they find skilled workers, they cannot pass a drug test often. So what can the city commission do to help address the drug problem that we have in Franklin County?
Wow, that's a big question. That's a hard question. I mean, it's not just here; it's everywhere. But I know that it is very seriously here. Education goes a long ways, but also having something for kids to do besides drugs would go a long way as well. Um, we, I mean, I just watched the documentary last night about the drug problem that's in this country, and I wish it was a quick answer, but I really do think that we need to do better to provide for the youth. We need something for them to do and to stay out of trouble, give them passions, whether it be sports or just hiking or mountain biking or organized athletics or whatever. But I guess as a commission to support projects that are geared toward our youth, I think is one really important step that could be taken. And anytime you support that, you're supporting our community and ultimately the quality of life that we have here.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the last city commission election 2 years ago, candidates commented on the stagnant population growth in Franklin County, and that Frankfort needs a positive change to spur growth. Do you feel like the current city commission has made a positive impact in moving Frankfort in that direction? And what would you have done differently?
I don't think the current commission has done a whole lot. I think that they micromanaged far too much, and they could have gotten a lot more done. Personally, I personally would love to see the 18,000 commuters who work here to move here to Frankfort. I'd like to see our teachers and the state workers not come from Lexington and Shelbyville to work. I would love to have them move downtown, and we have a lot of houses here that need attention, and we could bring them here. If we could, I know my husband is trying to work with one of the banks in town to possibly work with teachers and employers to give them special loans for housing and things like that. Also reducing some of the red tape for developers and investors who want to bring their money here and fix up properties. And there could just be a lot of less red tape and swifter actions, getting together our planning and zoning and talking to them and letting them do their job. We really need to focus on this day. I mean, I agree. We've had 2% population growth in the last 20 years, or I don't quote me on that, but it's not a lot, and it's not comparable to all the other cities surrounding us. So we need to figure out what's wrong, and we need to bring people here. We need to make this a destination to live, not just work.
Okay. I'll just ask you this, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the value of walk, bike, run ability here in town? And do you see improvements that need to be made, and where would you start?
The value of walk, bike, run to me is a 10. I am a person who walks, bikes, or runs every day of every week. So, and I also know that outdoor recreation brings an enormous amount of quality of life and also economic growth to cities that have high quality walkability, runability, bikeability. We have some great parks. I would love to see the connectivity of those parks increase. I should be able to walk out my door and hit the river trail and, make it to Cove Spring without having to go on roads and go up, ideally, to Leslie Morris Park and take a hike through there. And we've got a lot of roads that don't even have sidewalks. So yeah, that's huge. That is definitely something that, as a commissioner, I would be putting a lot of my time and effort towards, is the connectivity of the trail system. I mean, ultimately, my big dream would be to connect a trail system to the Legacy Trail, and then also on the other side to the Louisville Loop, and have the trail come right through Frankfort. I've seen what a system like that has done for towns like Loveland, Ohio, and all along the Little Miami Trail system there, and it's amazing. We have it all here. We've got the river, and we've got the beauty, and if we can bring a trail that comes through this city, that would be phenomenal.
Okay. Our town has recently encountered problems with consistent recycling. What solutions do you propose to limiting the waste in our town that needs to be recycled or thrown away? And how can we avoid future problems with recycling?
You've hit another chord that's very close to my heart, the recycling. I'm not sure that a lot of people understand that a lot of the stuff that we throw into a recycling bin, even if it says it's recyclable, it still doesn't make it to the recycling center, whether it's because it's dirty or there's just not demand for that type of plastic. And we really, as a community, need to start just avoiding using products that have a lot of packaging. I mean, and I think that goes a long ways to public education, and also just moving away from like, get your newspaper online, pay for the online edition. You don't need to get 17 newspapers in your mail. Getting your magazines online. And I know people, it's hard to at first adapt to that, but once you do, it's really not a big deal. We personally try not to make a lot of waste, but I remember sitting in a city commissioner meeting, and a woman complaining that her small garbage can wasn't enough because she no longer could recycle, and her family of 2 was filling a large garbage can now, and it was overflowing by the end of the week. And to me, it's unacceptable. We need to produce less waste. And I think implementing, I know people don't like laws, but if we can somehow have incentives for the grocery stores and different stores to reduce the amount of plastic bag waste, for instance, and takeout order waste, all of these things, just incentives for people to use less, whether that means having to pay more for a large garbage can, or see it in their taxes somehow. It definitely needs to be dealt with, and hopefully the city of Frankfort can find a source for the recycling that is available. I know that Louisville has a place, but they're actually going to charge to take all of the recycling, and at the expense of the environment, it might be worth paying a little bit to get rid of our trash. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it, and I think it's something that definitely needs to be tackled and dealt with going forward. I don't, with the things changing in China and the accepting of not accepting our recycling, and hopefully here in the U.S., I see that as an opportunity for someone to get free recyclables, mm-hmm. and hopefully be able to make it profitable here in the U.S. So I don't know. It's a big question, but I hope to see something done.
I appreciate your answer.
It's a little scattered.
No, we're beginning to wind down here, so I have a few questions that are just like a quick response will do. Do you support allowing chickens within city limits?
I support non-crowing chickens, yes. Roosters, not so much. I mean, that's going to bother people. I absolutely don't see a problem with chickens in people's backyards. Once again, I'll bring up the fact that other successful cities have allowed them and they've not had issues. So I think it's just absolutely.
Okay. Would you support regulations on food trucks? Food trucks?
You froze up on me.
Oh, would you support regulations on food trucks?
Boy. I believe recently they deregulated the food trucks so that they're allowed to sit in one spot for a longer period of time. Um, I don't see a problem with deregulating them. I think competition is a good thing. So while I'm sure some restaurants may worry about that, I really do believe that competition is a good thing, and the more um, reasons people have to come here, whether it be a choice of 3 different food choices or 10, it's just going to bring more people to support all of the restaurants and the food trucks. So, not that I can't be convinced otherwise. I'm not aware of any other good arguments. So,
Okay, great. Where do you stand on the bicycle ban at Leslie Morris Park?
do you want to take a guess? I 100% support the multi-use trails at Leslie Morris Park. I believe that they were given the go from the parks director and our city manager, and the city commission and the mayor should have allowed that to take place. And I think that they will be wonderful. So I may also note that it was a $65,000 asset that we got here in Frankfort for the cost of less than $5,000. And I would also like to note that they are currently being maintained by the mountain biking community, Kimba, and they are being maintained in hopes that someday they will be able to bring their pedal bikes up there and bike. And if a permanent ban were to come, we're going to lose that $65,000 asset. And that will be a direct responsibility of our current commissioner and mayor.
Okay. And this is my last question. Some of the candidates have not been responding to the questions sent by the State Journal. If that includes you, why have you not taken this opportunity to make your views known to a wider audience?
I have answered every question. I love the fact that the State Journal is doing this. We've had all of our meet and greets canceled and our forums until now. We've not had an opportunity to get our message out. So I am very appreciative of the State Journal for doing that. Sometimes the questions are not always, what I hope they would be, but I'm more than happy to answer them, because if they're asking, then other people want to know too. It's also a free opportunity for me to voice my opinion. So yeah, I love it, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Great. Well, now it's your turn to speak directly to our viewers and tell them why you are the best candidate for City Commission and why they should vote for you.
All righty. Well, I also want to say I'm running a green campaign, so I'm not using yard signs or flyers or anything like that, because I don't want to add to the landfill at the end of the campaign, whether I win or lose. And so I encourage you, if you like me or you like what I have to say, to please spread it to your friends and spread the word. I'm depending on word of mouth. But yeah, I think that I'm an outsider, and I get that. And I think it's so important to have people on the commission that were born and raised here. But I also think it's important to have someone with an outside perspective. And so I think that's what I would bring. Like I said, I've lived a lot of places. I've lived in Alaska, Montana, Colorado, and now Kentucky. We've traveled extensively. I always pay attention to what works in cities. I have a weird fascination with things like that, and seeing what makes people happy. And I think that Frankfort's main problem, which is everybody everywhere, is change, and change is kind of scary. And I think that that I bring a perspective and a vision that could be really positive change for Frankfort. And I really hope that people appreciate that. I think they do. And they've seen what we've done with Urban Woods. You know, people told me over and over that there's no way I was going to change the perception of that property. And it's because they've lived here their whole life. And, you know, it was public housing, it was drug deals up there. And, you know, it can be done. I have a different eye. I didn't see that. I came here, I saw it as a great place. And sure enough, it is easy to change that perspective. You just sometimes have to trust an outside eye, I guess. So, I would like to think I'm the best candidate, but you know what? Maybe I'm not the best, but I might be the second best or the third best. And so I know we've got a lot of great candidates out there, but I do think I would be an excellent addition to the group. And I'm going to work with them no matter what to make Frankfort a better place because I love it here.
That's great. So where is somewhere people can find more information out about you? Do you have social?
Oh, thank you. Uh-huh. I have a website. It's dianestrong.com. And then I have got my Facebook page, which is where I do most of my stuff. I put all of my answers to the newspaper questions. And it's Diane Strong for Frankfort Commissioner. Or is that it? Frankfort Board of Commissions. So that's easy to find on Facebook. And like I said, I post all of my answers to all the questions there from the newspaper and give updates. And also, if you want to advertise for me, I've got window markers for your car, and I'll come right to your car for you if you want. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking time today. I know our viewers appreciate hearing from you. I know I do, so thank you. And to our viewers, I want to remind you that voting is a little different this year. So be sure to go online to govoteky.com to request your ballot. And you can also get up-to-date information on our voting procedures. We're going to be on Cable 10, are going to be talking about the voting procedures from now until June 23rd. So it's election season, people. So it's time to get informed. Let's figure out who we support and then go vote for them. That's it for today, for this edition of Meet the Candidates. We appreciate Diane Strong for being here. So we'll see you next time.